Don in London, hello. It's August the 3rd, 2009. My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour, or addiction to both substance and behaviour. If it doesn't get us one way addiction, it's probably going to get at us another way. And normally it's why does it start? How do we get addicted? Well, we keep on doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something different to happen, or to feel happier. And with drinking, for me, alcohol, that was my substance, and my behaviour was trying to be perfect and knowing absolutely that I wasn't. And I remember somebody asked me, Don, if you can't succeed, how do you deal with failure, and how do you forgive yourself? And nobody had ever asked me that question. I was dumbfounded. So on a daily basis I've now found how to be forgiving of myself and everybody, that we are all human beings trying to do what we can do, and to hopefully make life work on a daily basis. So for me, I have a time frame, a life plan for today. It's helped and supported by family, community and professionals, and what underpins it is being in recovery and sober. And the way I got sober, well, I found things which I didn't like at first, like the fellowship of AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. I didn't like it because it suggested a way out of doing something which I've been doing for 35 years. And I didn't want to stop. I just wanted the world to leave me alone, and I got very, very lonely and isolated, excluding myself because I just didn't feel right, and I felt less than in a big way, less than anything. I wasn't even something you could I wasn't even something you would like to see crawl out from underneath a stone. That's how I felt about me. So I went down as low as I could. I didn't want to wake up in the morning to live. I didn't want to die, or at least I wasn't sure whether I wanted to live anymore, and it would have been quite okay by me a few years ago if I'd just fallen asleep and not woken up again. And those are tragic feelings, because it's the lowest pit of depression and desolation. And on a daily basis now, if I know how I'm feeling, what is causing it, and what I can do about it, I have a better chance of making my life work for this great big life plan one day long. So I've stopped using coping strategies, if you like. There are a lot of things we do to cope, and the worst one for me was drinking to oblivion, just so I didn't have to deal with me. How awful is that? Well, it may be a rhetorical question, but for me, I hope I never go back that far. I still get depression, but that's just part of what is me, and I still have other things to contend with besides recovery, so I have to have, or I benefit from having professional help, medical help and a fellowship where I can go and share my feelings and get in touch with now, what's happening now, and that for me is a spiritual connection to living. So AA keeps me sober a day at a time, and it then means I can do the rest of my life as best I can and be interested and have useful things to do, and to be interested in people and their welfare and their well-being, and also be interested in my own welfare and well-being. And either Freud said it, well-known psychiatrist, or he got it from somewhere down the centuries: 3 elements of life, really important: to love, be loved, and have something useful to do. And that's what we were given by nature and providence. You know, nature made us, or if you have a higher power, God made us, or if you're in between, good conscience is where we are with our understanding of how to live well. So for me, good conscience is a connection to the higher power of community, society and civilization. I have no idea how the universe was made, and if I were to try and define it, I would have to seek out all sorts of help and support to do it. So there are powers greater than me, and one of the things I've learned in recovery, if I have an appeal to good conscience or a higher power, and that can be AA for me, then life can work out. So what did AA do for me? And it really changed my attitude on a daily basis and my behaviour on a daily basis, and then it suggests we keep on doing that. So the preamble of AA, which I share here, is a statement of what AA can do, and if we get into a can-do attitude, we can get on with it. So this is how it is. Alcoholics Anonymous. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution. It does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And, it's a fellowship, so if you're looking for an organisation to fix you, there are plenty of those around who will do their best, but often they suggest, once you've got past the first hurdle, over the physical craving and the emotional upset that is caused by giving up something we love, or we love to hate. After we've got that bit sorted out, they often suggest AA is a good way of keeping things going. And what I found in the fellowship of AA is full of unique, authentic people who meet on a daily basis in different meetings around the world. And in London there's 700 odd meetings a week. So if I don't like one meeting or the people there, I can go to another meeting where I do like the people and what is going on there. And it's like anything. A fellowship of people turning up one day at a time means what you experience of AA is what you see in a meeting. And behind that is literature which backs up how to change attitude and behaviour, and some traditions which hold the whole fellowship together. So the common understanding is we are there for one reason, a desire not to drink anymore. And the other one is to share experience, strength and hope and how to do this. So if we make our life plan one day long and we meet people in one day who could be a few hours sober or a few decades, tens of decades sober, and some people that got the message early and they may have 50 years sobriety, continuous, or other people like me a bit late into the programme with only a little bit of time sober compared to that. But in truth, anything over one day means that we're starting on the right track of changing attitude and behaviour and breaking a pattern which has taken years to develop, or breaking a pattern which has been identified early. I love it when people come in early to the fellowship and start to make their lives work immensely better than they did before. So that's a bit about what is it all about. And I was looking at As Bill Sees It, one of the books I use here on YouTube, and it says here on page 165, success in 12th stepping. 12th step is about sharing it with other people and hoping that it makes some impact on them. And it says here, we now see that in the 12th stepping the immediate results are not so important. Some people start out working with others and have an immediate success. They are likely to get cocky. Those of us who are not so successful at first get depressed. As a matter of fact, the successful worker differs from the unsuccessful only in being lucky about his prospects. He simply hits newcomers who are ready and able to stop at once. Given the same prospects, the seemingly unsuccessful person would have produced almost the same results. You have to work on a lot of newcomers before the law of averages commences to assert itself. So in other words, we can be quite belligerent people, and nobody could tell me what to do when I first got to AA. And I actually listen to people and find out what they do to keep sober these days. So it enables my choice. And in the daily reflections today, one page a day, as Bill sees it, you can read it till the cows come home. Yes. August 3rd, to be of service. Our real purpose is to fit ourselves to be of maximum service to God, or nature and providence, or good conscience, whichever way you look at it, and the people about us. And for me, God works through people, God is love, God is truth. So if those work for me, it's what works for you which is important. And it says here, it is clear that God's plan for me is expressed through love. God loved me enough to make me, loved me enough to take me from the alleys and jails, so that I could be made useful, a useful participant in his world. My response is to love all of his children through service and by example. I ask God to help me imitate his love for me through my love for others. And where that came in, well, whoever said to love, be loved, and have something useful to do, there was nothing more useful than sharing a message of experience, strength and hope. And it can work for anybody if we give it a chance. So there is a serenity prayer shared at most meetings at the end, and it's an exaltation to God or good conscience or to the higher power of your choice, whatever it may be. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. It just seems to happen on a daily basis for me. That life plan, that huge life plan, one day long, without coping strategies.